Mike Hosking Breakfast, 6 to 9 weekdays on Newstalk ZB.
G'day there. In a week in which the government launched another action plan, the action that counts most for many is the announcement that the Prime Minister told us was coming earlier on in the week when he was in the studio on the program and arrived yesterday. Local councils and Maori seats is the big announcement. A lot of the overlay around this government involving all three parties, basically the National Party, ACT and New Zealand First, is about the Maorification of this country over the last half dozen years. It has been shockingly destructive, and councils have led and been allowed to lead the way when it comes to simple racism. Policies based on race, let's be clear about this, policies based on race are racist policies. Policies that advance one race over another are racist. And despite that, they have not only gone ahead, but they've been encouraged to go ahead by the previous government. Now, the law that let the community hold a vote on Maori seats was disbanded. If you remember, that alone was undemocratic, but it was disbanded because the results were basically always the same. When a vote was held, no one wanted race-based seats. Now, you ask yourself, why would that be the case? Well, the answer is because New Zealanders, at the end of the day, are inherently fair. This was all predicated on the idea that in a democracy, somehow Maori were denied the right to stand, when in fact, no such restriction was ever in place. Maori, like everybody else, can stand for boards, they can stand for councils, they can stand for committees, and they can stand for parliament. Top to bottom, democracy is an open field in this country, and that is what needs to be treasured, needs to be nurtured, needs to be encouraged, and it needs to be preserved. And what made yesterday's announcement even more effective, councils will be made to hold votes on recent seats that didn't hold votes on, so you'll have to go back and do it properly. And if they don't want to hold those votes, well, that's no problem either. The seat then gets scrapped. All of this is brilliant. That was the step, actually, I suspect, that many didn't think would be coming in yesterday's announcement. Now, some councils will be gnashing their teeth. You will have heard in the news today so far the people who are upset. But what councils forget is they represent their community, and on this issue, they have been wildly, wildly out of step. To get where we have got to, democracy has been basically, if you think about it, gerrymandered. The way it is gerrymandered in countries we would normally have great suspicions about. We are basically better than that. And yet, the previous government, in cahoots with ideologues on councils up and down the country, with, I would have thought, far more important things to actually deal with, held us to ransom and they shoved it down our throats. When a government restores democracy, driven by common sense, that's a government on the right track.
The Mike Hosking Breakfast, 6 to 9 weekdays on Newstalk ZB.